Grazie mille per il tuo tempo. Allora, la prima domanda vedendo il film che mi è venuta è when did you first get the idea for Sundown? The first sparkle?
I think it was in a trip to Acapulco. I hadn't been there in more than 10 years, maybe 15 years, and I just took the car and drove there because it's the closest beach to Mexico City, and I was with a girlfriend, and sadly enough, we went through a bit of a rough experience, a bad encounter with heavily armed policemen, almost military, when we were going out for dinner. And this girlfriend I was with, she's not Mexican, so she was very. They stopped us for no reason. They were, trying to make something out of it. Like being silly, asking if she was being kidnapped by me, which I said, like, look at me, do I look like a kidnapper? And well, to make a long story short, it was nothing happened, but she was very stressed because we were pointed, held at gunpoint and shouting at us, and I had to go away in a strange way because they were saying get out of the car, and I wouldn't get out of the car. That's the last thing you do, but she was telling you the army is giving you orders. And I'm telling her, trust me, you don't follow those orders because then it's worse. So it's very strange, right, to deal in that way with authority. So that was it, and then 6 months later, I was without that girlfriend in a personal crisis, and the idea of this film came to me, and I was very sad. I was going through rough times, and somehow I guess that episode in Acapulco made sense in my head. And of course, I always wanted to make a film in Acapulco because that's where I spend most of my vacations during childhood and my teenage years. We would go several times a year, and it was a happy place that now turned into a nightmare. It's very violent, dangerous, and it's not what it used. It's not the paradise that it used to be. So placing a character that's in a crisis in that context was very appealing to me.
Absolutely. The acting is very impressive. How did you do the casting? Were Tim Roth and Charlotte Gainsbourg the first choice?
I wrote it with Tim in mind. I gave him a bit of I told him a little bit of what I was writing before, and he said, sounds intriguing. And like 2 weeks later, I wrote it very fast, and I sent it to him, and he liked it. He said, don't change it much. So we know each other very well, Tim and I. We've been friends for more than 10 years. Then Charlotte, I've been dreaming of working with her for especially since the Lars von Trier movies. I adore Charlotte, but it was my casting director who said maybe she'd be interested in this role, and I never thought she would be because I would always think of offering her a main role, but she's very humble, and it turned out that she did want to work with me, and I was very thankful. And I'm looking forward to making another film with her. I think she's one of the most intriguing people in the world. Very talented.
Yes, absolutely. And what about Yazua Larios? She's great.
Yazua is great. She's the only trained actor in the movie on the Mexican side. All the rest are people from Acapulco that are from that beach. But for that role, I reckon I needed an actress. Having said that, I wanted an actress that's not familiar to Mexican audiences. So she had done some stuff that I hadn't seen, but not, she's kind of a newcomer, even though she has experience in theater and other things. So my casting director in Mexico, Viridiana, she brought her in, and I didn't even cast her. I just spoke to her, and I think she did a perfect job. And Tim helped a lot. You know, they really became closer in the shooting, and there was some real chemistry going on there.
Absolutely. Looking back at the very beginning at your journey, how much has changed your way to make a movie? Is it more difficult or easier now?
It's never easier. I now have many advantages that I didn't have, of course, at the beginning. Now more people believe in me, so it's easier to be surrounded of the right crew, and people are trying to help me because they understand what I want to do. What gets more complicated, I mean, finding money is never easy, so people shouldn't think, oh, now it's easy to make a movie. That's always hard. I guess what's harder now is to find ways to not make the same movie over and over again. I don't mind if I end up doing that, but at least I should think, and my approach should be different. So I don't know where movies come from. You know, they come from personal experiences or from a feeling or from watching something, but they should all come from within. So one wonders, how many movies have I got within me? You know, how and this is my job. My whole energy goes into it, and I hope I have many more movies to make.
Yeah, last time in Venice we talked about Luis Buñuel and Viridiana. Is still your favorite movie ever?
Yeah, I mean, my friends keep laughing because every time I'm asked that question, I say this is the best. You know, I could tell you Fitzgeraldo is the best, but Viridiana is quite a masterpiece, quite complete, and yeah, it's a fantastic movie. Having said that, for example, my film company is called Teorema, and that's of course honoring Pasolini's masterpiece. He's got a few masterpieces, but the reason why I decided to call Teorema my company is because that's a reminder, if we ever get lost or we're starting to be self-indulgent, or you know, to find a formula, if we ever take the wrong approach on filmmaking, there's Teorema from Pasolini to remind us, you know, what's right.
Absolutely. And here in Italy, we celebrate last week the 100th, the centenary of Pasolini. What do you think is the heritage today of Pasolini?
Well, he was maybe the first. I'm sure it's not the first, but in my book, or from all of my heroes, he's the first truly free filmmaker and a poet at the same time. I think he made such beautiful films, and at the same time so deep intellectually, and unlike any other filmmaker, he had all of the freedom that a filmmaker can try to have, you know, because freedom is not only about someone telling you can do what you want. It's allowing yourself to be free, and he was, up until Saló, one. I cannot think of another filmmaker that maybe Buñuel that would enjoy that kind of freedom.
Yes, absolutely. My last question is, what are your feelings when you're rewatching your movies?
Oh, I never do that. I
no,
never,
even
no.
Sundown, you've never.
No, the last time I watched it was in Venice at that beautiful, you know, premiere, and that's it. Because by the time I get there, I've seen it 100 times, you know, editing and sound design, and so there's nothing I can learn by watching one of my movies. Yeah, it would be a waste of time. I would be embarrassed, but it's funny. Some other filmmakers love rewatching their work. Yeah, I guess it's like looking at yourself in the mirror for some people do that.
Yeah, absolutely. And but we have seen many Mexican directors go to Hollywood in all these years. Are you ready for that kind of jump or no?
What do you mean by jump?
From Mexico to Hollywood, you'd like to do that kind of jump or
no? I shot Chronic in Los Angeles 8 years ago, and some people were saying, so you're moving to Hollywood and all that. And no, not at all. I'm just shooting a film in Los Angeles, but it's a film of mine, I could shoot a movie anywhere. I'd like to shoot a movie in Italy, as long as there's a reason behind it, a personal reason. And of course, if I am the main producer, if I keep controlling. So I would never work for hire for a studio, that sounds like a nightmare. I would never want to do that. Yeah.
It's freedom, no? Like
Pasolini's freedom. And I don't have that kind of ambition, to become a millionaire or to. It's very easy when I talk to my friends that are Hollywood directors making the $100 million movies. They tell me horrible stories, about how someone recut their movie, and they tell me, I swear to you, it was going to be great up until X person changed it. And well, I'm like, of course, if you want to make $100 million movies, you give up control. So what's the point? Where's the joy and where's the cinema? I mean, again, Pasolini or Buñuel never did that, nor Fellini, nor
yeah, it's true.
The only time that Bergman did try to did that movie that is not even bad, but it's his lesser work, right? The Serpent's Egg. Yeah, there's no reason to do that. I love my life, and I enjoy my work, and I'll keep. You have to protect that.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you very much. Grazie mille, Michel. Next time in Italy. We see you in Italy, okay?
Ci vediamo.
In Italia.